Hey guys.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to episode 7. We're real excited for this episode. Um, Nothing new as far as anything we can think of hobby wise. Um, Trying to think. Anything new you can think of?
Not that I can think
No?
of.
All right, well, then we'll get to it. We're going to have a message real quick from our sponsors, and then we're going to get right on into it.
Hey you guys, it's Kyle from Markham Reptiles. Here at Markham Reptiles, we keep a variety of cool different species of snakes, and we also happen to be one of the only breeders in the US captive breeding northern white-lipped pythons. That is our specialty here at Markham Reptiles. We love northern white-lipped pythons. We also love educating you guys about different species of reptiles in our YouTube videos. Go check us out on YouTube, Markham Reptiles. We are also at Markham Reptiles on Instagram and Markham Reptiles on TikTok. Please go check us out. We hope that you guys are having a wonderful day, and please continue to spread the love of reptiles and arachnids.
Beasts, Brews, and Botany is the most unique reptile show in Northern Virginia and maybe in the country. It's at Eavesdrop Brewery that has delicious alcoholic beverages and a wonderful array of food in the area as well. Courtyards to chill in. It's dog friendly. It's kid friendly. You can bring the whole entire family out. You can get all your plants, arachnids, reptiles. You could get dart frogs, vampire crabs, and take photos with reptiles as well. The first Sunday of each month at Eavesdrop Brewery is Beasts and Brews, so the reptile show. And the second Sunday of every month is Brews and Botany at Eavesdrop Brewery. Now, this event is held by my good friend Kiko, and he actually has a variety of carnivorous plants as well. He ships said carnivorous plants anywhere in the United States, including Alaska and Hawaii. So that's Venus flytraps, sundews, any carnivorous plant you could want. Go give him a follow at Flora Esoterica on Instagram and Facebook. And definitely, if you're in Northern Virginia, you need to check out Beasts, Brews, and Botany. You will not be disappointed.
Lucio Exotics, based out of Richmond, Virginia, is a high-level producer of Leachianus geckos, gargoyle geckos, Chihuahua geckos, and even some crested geckos. They're also working on some exciting snake projects like Barron's Racers. And these guys are absolutely amazing people. I could not speak more highly of these people, their service, and the quality of their animals. Go ahead and check them out on Instagram at Lucio Exotics. Send them a DM and ask them what they have available. They will gladly help you out. Big shout out to Sean and Allison. Everybody, you guys should be checking out Lucio Exotics.
All right. Now, the moment everybody's been waiting for. Season 1, Episode 7. Our guest tonight, you might know him as the Ultimate Tom.
Mm-hmm. Tom Squared.
Both are trademark names.
Mm-hmm.
You also have Tom Saxen, is what he's also known as. He is the owner and operator of Fangztv.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the hobby for how many years?
Like 70 at least.
Plus, maybe. But we're real excited to bring him on. We're hoping you guys will comment and interact with him. He can see all your comments. So let's, without further ado, let's bring him on stage. Tom Saxen.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy to be here. Really excited about this and the opportunity to chat with you guys here. This is awesome.
Yeah, man, we're super pumped to have you.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So, how long have you been keeping and in the hobby?
Yeah, so, oh my goodness, it's been a while. I don't know if quite 70 years, as it was said before, but I think somewhere around 2007 or so was originally when I got into it. So I'm coming up on 20 years in the hobby, and I feel really old saying that. I think as you get older, you always think of yourself as like a young version of yourself,
Mhm.
And at some point, I'll be like with a cane, thinking I'm still like 20 years old. I don't know. But,
Well, when you say 2007, I'm like, oh, that hasn't been that long. Wait, it has been about 20 years. That's crazy.
yeah, it's that whole like weird 2000s type
I
of like
know.
perception, right?
Mhm.
Everything seems like a minute ago. So,
And
Mhm.
I assume you've seen the hobby change since then too. I'm sure there's been tremendous changes that have, the hobby's gone through.
oh, drastically, yeah. So funny enough, being one of the hobby toms, I'm not the first. There's actually a lot of people think like Patterson when they think, Tom,
Mhm.
which obviously was like one of the OGs, but there was another one too. His name was Tom Augusta of
Oh.
8 Legs Plus, and that's actually someone I got a few of my first spiders from. Used to, obviously everybody goes to the expo scene, right? That was really big back then, although, we used forums and stuff. But so there's him, Patterson, there's obviously Moran, there's Stifter,
Mhm.
there's it's something about Toms and arachnids that just like there's a synergy there. And I don't know what it is. What I can say though that I love about all the hobby Toms is, knock on wood when I say this, we're all good people, right?
Mhm.
We haven't had a bad apple in the Tom cart yet. So hopefully it stays that way. So that's a nice thing. Whether or not we all get confused or people are confused by which one is which, we're all good because we all have a good name to ourselves.
True statement.
So
True statement.
I mean,
How
I'd be
many
scared.
Yeah. How many times do people mix you, especially in Tom Patterson, up? Is it a constant occurrence?
It happens sometimes. Like it was funny. I was telling him in Martinique because we both went there together. I'll get something where someone's like messaging me and they're like, "Oh, I just saw you just dropped a whole bunch of new stuff on your website," and I was like, no. I was like, I think that's Patterson. I was like, let me give you his contact info, and I'll send that over to him.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, it's all good. If somebody's looking for somebody, I'm honest about it. But yeah, every once in a while we do get some signals crossed there. But I think everybody wins in the end,
Exactly.
So, yeah. But no, it's good stuff.
So, what was your first tarantula that you got to kind of start this downward spiral?
Yeah, honestly, one of the first ones was the Groundswell Pulchripes. There's a staple, Chaco Golden Knee, right? Staple in the hobby. Back then, I say back then, like I'm an old geezer. They were like $20 for an adult female. Like 6-inch, 6-inch spider. And readily available. It was something pretty commonplace, but they're just so docile and friendly.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Spiders.
They're ones we always recommend.
Yeah, they never lasted long on the table, especially because people that would come up that were adamant about holding a spider, I'd be like, if you're like super adamant about it, this is going to be the one that that's going to do it for you, I think. And we would show them, we would just put it right out in our hand, and they would just hang out. They're super cool spiders.
And it looks like Tracy got her first tarantula from you, actually.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm so excited about that. That's a nice thing about being in the hobby for a while. I can really see it's you see people grow, right? And just being able to see people that come into the hobby, they get their first spiders, they get huge collections. I've had people that have become vendors, like from selling them spiders and then getting into the hobby. And you just see them on this growth path, and it's really kind of cool. And it doesn't even end there. One of the there's obviously like detractors of social media, but one of the nice things is like I'll get invited in and I see their lives and their posts, and they're like getting older and having kids and all this kind of stuff, and it's just really nice to see somebody that I would have never connected with had it been for spiders, and I really do, appreciate everyone that's kind of come into my life and enjoyed spiders, and it's just really nice. Yeah, it's heart touching.
It is.
Heartfelt.
And that is one thing. I feel like there are so many different types of people that are keepers. You get to meet people that you would never have connected with if it weren't for spiders.
Some of our closest friends are people that we've actually never met in person. They were just people that we've met through the hobby, and we've been friends for years,
Yeah.
trading spiders back and forth, and and they've just become almost like family to us.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when we say, I mean, this is, as you can attest, I mean, you're in here almost every day working and dealing with these animals. It's a full-time job on the side of your real full-time job.
It can be. It really is. Yeah, it's a lot of work for sure.
Yeah, and you've bred some serious numbers.
Yeah. So decent amount. Yeah, I've been, there. I took a couple of years when I first got into the hobby, like anybody else, just a classic hobbyist and things like that. And it was funny at the time. I get into a lot of stuff, and hobbies. I used to change very often. I got into a lot of hobbies, and my wife, she wasn't. We were just dating at the time. She's like, "Oh, you're it's just a fad. You're gonna like grow out of it. You're not gonna." And I like really kind of did it. Not out of spite so much, but yeah, kind of out of spite. And I was like, I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna like stick to this for a long time. And that's really like what drove me to like just do that. But I've always had a passion for animals. But breeding was definitely something I wanted to focus on very early on. I saw a lot of what we got in the hobby was imported from overseas, whether that was wild caught or captive bred. And I really just found that there was a gap in who was producing things on the US side. Now, there are people that were producing at that time for sure. No one in large numbers necessarily. But that was really, a big thing that I saw, and I wanted to focus on that. So I put a heavy emphasis into breeding, probably at the lack of focusing on other things. There's certain ways you can move through life, and some, everybody finds their niche, right? Some want to focus on social media, they want to focus on YouTube, and I tried that a little bit first, but I found that really what I wanted to do was just support the hobby in numbers and providing captive bred animals for people that want to purchase them here and have them raised here. So that's really what I wanted to do with it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you do you produce in numbers. You'll produce like, I don't know, 50 geniculata at one time or something fucking crazy. And we're like, oh my God, he's a maniac.
Yeah, no, I do quite a bit. I've done like several species in the 15 to 25 egg sacs per year quantity. The hardest one I think that I went through on that challenge was green bottle blue. At the time, not a lot of people were producing them, and I produced 24 egg sacs in a single breeding year. Took a lot of time and dedication. I don't know if anyone in the chat or who's watching this has seen how long it takes to pair green bottle blues or know about, how much they like to eat the males, but it takes a lot of time and effort. The longest pairing that I've even had across all spiders was green bottle blues. Took 13 hours to do a singular pair. So set up like a camera, time lapsed it. He would just like approach, back out, and that went on for 13 hours. It was insane. Yeah.
Did you just go about your day and like watch the feed and intervene, like wander back in when you needed to? How did you do that?
So I did it on the weekend. Most of the time I would sit for about 5 to 6 hours in a chair and watch them and try to intervene where I had to. If I had to see them like break them up, or you get subtle cues that it's just not going to work out. And then after I do like that cycle a few times, like, and I feel like everyone's as good as I can get it, then I'll go ahead and I'll let them like say cohab over like a period of a day or so. And, if something happens, it happens. But I definitely try to monitor those first interactions way more thoroughly the first go around. So
that makes sense.
Piggybacking on the breeding, what's your favorite species to breed that you've had the most fun working with?
Honestly, like the more you get into tarantulas, the more you like quirky stuff, right? It's just like, just like specimens itself, like our certain species, the quirkier, the more it's interesting. So honestly, Thrixopelma acridi was one of my favorites. So bizarre when you pair them. Most tarantulas, they're either going to clash and they'll pair, or they get eaten, or whatever have you. The acridi are very bizarre in where they'll do like the typical drumming, they'll drum back and forth. And then when they lock, they're like frozen in time, and they'll literally they'll come together and they'll just freeze. They don't do anything. And all of a sudden it's like someone hit the unpause button and then they break apart. And I'm like, that's so weird. I've never seen another species pair like that.
Yes, I remember I actually reached out to you when I was pairing mine, like the first time I had a successful pairing, because even just the courtship behavior was a little bit weird. And I was like, I don't know what to do here. Can you help me out? But you walked me through it. Thank you for that, by the way. What's that?
Daniel Becken brings up a good point.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you want to touch on that. I'm assuming you never breed individuals from the same sack.
Yeah, you never want to try to, but here I'm going to give the honest, uncut, raw answer, right? And that is, there's not enough documentation in the hobby to really track that well. Most of the time, they're not going to line up just based off of the time when they mature, right? Like say you have post-Letharia, like the males are going to mature within like 18 months. The females are going to take a few years, right? So it's just time constraints, like it doesn't happen. There are certain species that you can mature out, in similar times. You obviously try to avoid it as best as possible. But then again, if you're selling off babies, and slings are getting sold off all the time, right? And there's really not enough tracking in the hobby to say, even though you might have bought it from two different vendors, maybe the import came from the original person, right? And they got split up, and you just really have no idea, right? And that's just the honest opinion. I could come on here and say, oh, no, never, ever does it happen in the hobby, right? But that's not the real answer. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's see who is here.
Who? I've seen a few people that popped in.
Yeah.
We got 54 people streaming live right now in the chat. So keep commenting, guys.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
I guess if we want to give away like a few of the gift cards to start with, and then we'll do a few a little bit later on.
There's tons of comments in here.
Yeah. I'm going to pick a couple early birds here just because they took the time to kind of hop on here. I'm going to go with Andrew Holdorf there. He gets a gift card for $50.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with Mickey Mix. There's a second one there.
Nice.
And then we'll do a third one, and then we'll do a couple more. There's going to be 10 of them total. But we'll do 3 for now, and we'll hit the rest a little bit in a little bit here. Let's go with Malloy Baron, also for the third one.
And guys, remember, reach out to Tom at...
Yes, what's your email again?
Fagztv.
Yeah, Tom at Fangztv. So just hit me up. If I called out your name, congratulations. And so we gave away 3. We'll do 7 more here in a little bit. I'll pick out some more names as we go, just to keep everybody engaged here and listening.
Absolutely.
So,
well, and you have a lot of experience and a lot to teach everyone. It seems like everybody's very excited to.
And guys, if you've never caught Tom at a show, I highly recommend going to see him at a show. His table setup's pretty friggin' nuts. I remember the first time we went to Hamburg and we walked up to your table and we were like deer in the headlights, just kind of staring at the table. We were like, my Lord, it's so clean.
It
looks
is. It's
so good.
So clean.
Yeah, I've tried to work on it over the years. Definitely. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's where I started out, actually, was at shows vending. Shout out to my boy Warren from New York, who actually convinced me to make a website, because otherwise I would have just been selling at shows my entire life. But I try to make improvements every year on it, little tweaks here and there. But it's all about the appeal, right? You want it to look nice and presentable. And sometimes I see setups and not just spiders, but just setups at expos. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this looks scary. Like, it looks scary, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But thank you for that. I appreciate it.
There's a few at Hamburg. I remember the first time we were at Hamburg, they had a table across from you, and it was just stacks of deli cups of wild caught specimens across the table, and I was like, "What? Why?
What is this pairing?" However, Fangztv has curb appeal because you walk up to the table and you're like,
that blue, beautiful display, man.
Well, we know Tom's a little bougie, so.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Someone asked if I ever considered selling enclosures. Actually, that's where I started out. So when I first got into the hobby, someone actually invited me to start vending with them, and I would do enclosures and they would sell spiders. So a little bit of Tom lore. I used to work for a spray foam insulation company. So in our off hours, like after work, we used to actually just make our own backgrounds out of spray foam, carve them up with the wood. Like, we put wood in it and the moss, and we did like cool, like big enclosures and stuff like that. It's hard now with logistics, right?
Yeah.
And shipping stuff online and making sure the enclosures get there okay or on time, and nobody wants to pay for like expedited shipping for I just let the guys who focus on it, like you know, they're out there. You can find out you know, who does all those enclosures now. But yeah, so I do have them at the shows. I still do you know, have them, but I don't ship them, unfortunately. Sorry,
they're hard to ship. Well, and everybody wants you. I've had a few people here. Let's see. Someone told you to come to California. I think someone would like to see you in Vegas.
Yeah.
I
saw St. Louis somewhere up here. Massachusetts.
And now someone mentioned they don't live in New Jersey, but you do shows outside of New Jersey. You do PA shows. Where else do you typically?
Yeah, Pennsylvania, Maryland.
He comes to Baltimore.
Yeah,
he does the Baltimore show for any of our Northern Virginia folks.
Yeah, I've done New York in the past. Been a little bit since I've done New York, but yeah, I try to get around at least that type of a few states up there in the Northeast.
Yeah.
It's hard getting away. I should honestly start to make more trips just to come to shows to talk to people and walk around, even if I'm not vending. Honestly, I think that taking this trip recently to Martinique has kind of opened up my eyes a little bit more about expanding kind of what I want to do with stuff. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we all followed the whole time.
I know.
Jealously followed you in Martinique.
Yeah. If you want to pop up that I think I posted a video of one crawling on my arm. Yeah. So so we took a trip to Martinique. It was 8 of us actually. It's like 87 today. And we were checking out versicolor in the wild, and the Antilles pink toe tarantula. So it was an amazing experience. And one thing I could say, more so than anything, where the people are just really great. So people that were following along might have seen who came on the trip. But yeah, there was 8 guys. You know, we spend a week together. You know, you never know what's going to happen, but all the personalities, we all really meshed super well. All kind of cut from the same cloth. We all love spiders and kind of devoted our life to it. So that was an amazing part. And then, you know, just seeing the animals out in the wild, we saw so many specimens of versicolor at every stage you can imagine, just emerging, like not in the egg sac, but pretty much like second or third instar babies to different sized juveniles to adults to them eating in the wild. You know, that's something that's not really documented a lot. So that was amazing to see what they're predating on and what times of day they're out. We went during different times in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, just to see like their lifestyle habits as well. So that was really, really cool to see.
I know you got to see one eating a frog, right?
Yeah. So I was eating a frog. So yeah, one of the guys spotted it, and I literally came running over like a kid in a candy store. Like someone was giving away a free car or something. I'm like, oh my God, I got to see this. Because a big thing that we were wondering, during the daytime, a lot of them are out. We actually noticed that they tend to go to the retreats in the evening time, not so much in the daytime. So they're all out, all different sizes. The babies were out. Now you're thinking about a half-inch specimen of a versicolor. Anyone who's gotten a baby, they are like skin and bones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of daytime lizards that hang out in Martinique. They're all over. I would say they're way more plentiful than the tarantulas are. Mm-hmm. But in 30 minutes of walking, you could probably find 10 to 15 specimens of versicolor. Like they're densely packed, right, on these trails. Wow. Mm-hmm. But for them to be out in the daytime, you'd think like that's kind of with all the lizards, like, I don't know about that. And then who's eating what and when are they eating, right? Mm-hmm. So it was really interesting to see. I imagine the babies are most likely eating a lot of like small flies and things like that in the evening hours when it's more voluminous. But the adults are coming down and they're eating frogs and stuff. So we documented it, which is really awesome to see.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
super cool.
It is. Yeah. Well, so, what did you notice as far as where did you find slings and juveniles versus where you found the adults? Did you notice anything interesting about that?
Yeah, no. So I would say the adults are typically out all of the time, whether it's daytime or nighttime. We didn't really notice much. And that makes a lot of sense. Once you've reached an adult size versicolor, there's not many predators that are going to mess with you or that you can't flee from, right? Yeah. Now, in the daytime hours, we also saw a lot of the babies and the juveniles that were out, but not near retreats necessarily. What we found, like towards the twilight or evening hours, all those juveniles and babies were back inside of retreats. So they definitely live more, say, like a diurnal type of lifestyle where they're out during the day and they're taking the security and safety of their retreats at nighttime. I would say overwhelmingly we saw those types of patterns. So it was really interesting to see. And one thing I think that maybe people don't pick up on or we need to kind of evolve as a hobby is what we mean when we say arboreal or terrestrial. And it's a really interesting type of behavior that we witnessed while we were out there in Martinique. Now everybody thinks arboreal, spiders living in a tree, they're going to be, in a vertical position their entire life. And honestly, every single one that we saw were all based on horizontal structures within their retreats. So they're getting that horizontal support, whether they're hollowed out, like type of fence post, or a lot of them would curl up leaves and they would make their enclosures in that instead of like, say, now vertical. Now, obviously, it's giving protection from the rain, right? Any type of rain that comes down, you build your structure vertically, all that rain's going to come in and kind of drown you out. But we have to keep that in mind, like when we're building enclosures or we're trying to replicate those natural behaviors. Honestly, I would say get some type of like a pothos type of plant or similar, and they're gonna naturally curl around the leaf and make like a very minimalistic type of home. But they're going to mostly hang out in a terrestrial basis, right? Like where their body structure supported on a flat plane. And we did see that in the wild. None of them, I think only one. We did notice one out of, say, maybe like 30 or so specimen that did live in like a vertical type of fashion. But it's the same thing when you hear like green bottle blues or semi-arboreal and people think like, oh, I got to set up a branch. And it's like, no, like they are found in scrublands and they will build like platforms up off the ground. But, people think, arboreal, they naturally think like, let me get a hollow tube and set it up. And that's what they're going to web out of. Now, the adults most likely, we're finding retreats like that. We did find some big knots in the wood where they made holes or within, say, like the crevices of a tree. Where naturally, kind of have been floated, they would make enclosures there. the retreats there. But mostly it's different type of structure for the slings and juveniles.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that is really interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was very enlightening to see them in nature like that, because you can gain a lot from just studying their natural habitat rather than, like you said, looking at the description, arboreal or semi-arboreal, which is confusing in and of itself.
Now, temp-wise, did you notice them hanging out like in certain areas where there was more airflow, certain heights?
So
predominantly found at?
That's a great question there. I'm gonna upload a video actually. This one right here is just a baby versicolor hanging out on a leaf in broad sunlight in the middle of the day. It's the one there with all the plants. Should just be up there. So literally, you could see that little baby versicolor right there on it, and that's literally like how you would find them. There's and you can see not near any retreat, not near any safety, just sitting out in the open like it's nothing. So it's really cool to see that.
That is cool.
Yeah, they were just hanging out, and then I might have another.
That's one of my favorite pictures from the trip. Is the little versicolor just chilling on the big palm frond.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome.
He's king of the castle.
I think I have one here. This might be this one that I'm uploading now. Check this out. This is probably the tallest one that we saw. Most of the adults, I would say, are probably around 6 to 8 feet high. We did see some that were higher. Here you could see this decent way up the tree. So
that's cool.
Yeah, most of them that were a little bit above eye level though, but they do. I imagine there are a lot of them that get a lot of height on them as well.
Interesting.
Are those videos on your Instagram?
I think I posted them to Facebook. Yeah, feel free to follow. Just my name's Tom Saxen on Facebook. That's where I tend to put a lot of my content. Anybody's welcome to kind of track along and just see my journeys.
Yeah.
So,
all kinds of interesting
sure does.
stuff. A few people asked, they had assumed that birds would be
predating on the
is that not the case?
Big predator for the
we haven't seen we didn't witness any, I would say. Honestly, I would most likely think that lizards have some type of cyclical relationship with them, where some of the babies are getting eaten by the lizards and some of the lizards are getting eaten by the adults. Versicolor, so it might have a certain lifestyle, and it's keep in mind a lot of these species are endemic, so they've evolved for a long time where they're balancing each other out. Neither one of them's like out competing each other. So only every single tarantula Facebook group. All 9,000 of them.
Yeah.
Don't forget the most important one.
Oh,
toxic tarantulas, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
If you haven't joined toxic tarantulas, you're missing out.
Definitely. I would agree with that. But yeah, so no, it's cool. Been spending a lot of time just traveling around, and that Martinique trip was really cool to go on.
Yeah, you had some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
We have that video here of the waterfall, I think, right?
Yeah, so this one's actually in Costa Rica. So this is one of my trips to Costa Rica. Yeah, we can play it though. Let's go ahead and hit that. So this is a massive waterfall over in Costa Rica. I could, we were taking bets to see who would want to swim across it. Always had a passion for animals. There I saw, I unfortunately I didn't get any footage of it. I posted up another video. There it's the third one.
Yep.
This was over in Costa Rica as well. I did find a Megaphobema robustum. This is a video of a howler monkey. They're just chilling out. So
cool.
He's all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah. So yeah, they're pretty cool. But yeah, just seeing wildlife, I've always been passionate about it. There was a lot of venomous snakes that I saw. As I mentioned, Megaphobema and Samani, as everybody loves.
Did you notice the similarity in weather patterns or anything from Costa Rica to Martinique, like in the areas that you guys were finding, like arboreals and stuff like that?
No, not really. It's really kind of dense, and it's not so much like any particular. It's just dense, humid, hot, very tropical type of. Yeah. So,
was Costa Rica one of your favorite trips? It looks like it's just so rich. There's so many different types of animals, so many different species.
There is. You know, I went during the rainy season, and so yeah, it was cool to see the Mesomelas. But honestly, there's so much more just like varied wildlife in Costa Rica. Martinique is definitely cool, but there is a limitation on how much you could see, obviously. Similar but different landscapes. I'll be honest with you, I did not brush up on my 5th grade French, so that made it a little bit more challenging in Martinique among all of us. But yeah, so it was, I would say, if someone was planning a trip, Costa Rica is probably a good place to go for sure. It ticks off a lot of things for me.
Definitely on our bucket list
for sure.
For somewhere we want to go visit. Keeper of the Crawl.
Hunter's awesome. Honestly, I had a lot of time to connect with him, and it was really just great to chat with him and everyone else, really. But I think Hunter and I, we kind of kicked it off. I was just showing him some different things that you can't necessarily get in the U.S. readily. We got some sprouted coconut off of the beach, which I don't know if anyone's tried it, but it's kind of like styrofoamy. It's like literally like edible styrofoam. It's really wacky. So that was cool. And then we were trying soursop and some different types of fruits and things like that. Yeah. So.
Thailand. Have you ever been to Thailand?
No, I have not been to Thailand. I've been to Singapore, which was a lot of fun. I have not gone out to Thailand. It's definitely a bucket list thing that honestly, I was planning to do Thailand for a number of years. And then at the last minute, I swapped it over to a Singapore trip. I don't know why. It was just like something just clicked at the moment. And I just ended up doing that. So,
that's cool.
But yeah. But yeah, let's give away a few more gift cards here, I think, and then we'll save a couple for the end. But let's do 3 more. Let's go with Jen Blue 3757. Let's do Matt Tompkins.
That name sounds so familiar.
And then for the last one, for now, let's go with Mara 188I, and we'll do those, and then we have 4. So we'll have 4 left at the end here that we'll go through. But yeah, congrats everybody. And so that's 6, and we'll do 4 more towards the end of the stream here.
And someone asked about the, what was it? Cameroon baboon. If that's something that you've ever bred or considered breeding.
Yeah, no. So I have bred them in the past. That was actually a really fun one. Really dramatic pairing where the females like arch their abdomen back, like out of the way. And then the males kind of like, they really haunch over. So kind of cool to pair them. They pretty prolific producers as well for babies. Really good species. If you're comfortable raising them, it's a really fun species to breed.
What was your first pairing? I don't think we asked you that.
First ever was actually it was Segracillus. It was actually a scorpion and not tarantula.
Cool.
So that was the first one ever that I had to bred and had babies from. And then in terms of tarantula, the first one ever was actually P. marinus. Orange bitey thing. close place in my heart. I still remember the male's name was Cooper. I know, like back when I was still naming stuff. Now I'll just name ones if they like. I'll name the gimpy ones actually, and I'll hold them back. And I don't know.
Do you get attached to them a little bit?
Yeah, I do sometimes. Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
If I have any type of issues with one, I hold it back and then I fall in love
Green
with it.
RC24, he's asked a couple times in the chat. What is a great tea for a breeder starting out? Yeah, that is a really good question.
Yeah. Honestly, so if you are comfortable with Old World, I would say a lot of the baboon species are very easy. Yeah. They're pretty easy to pair and to have produced. Now, not all of them, but most of them. So you will have pretty good luck, as well as they tend to be pretty good mothers as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you're going, I would say New World, I would focus on things that maybe don't need as much cycling. So there are certain species where they're just hardwired to cycle conditions, and sometimes that could be challenging or frustrating to get through. So if you're just starting out, sometimes certain species that don't fit those constraints are a little bit better. That's where I would go with. Like typically, like some of the dwarfs, like New World dwarfs, aren't too bad.
I know Cambridgea is a big one. They're easy to produce.
Yeah, they're prolific, definitely. Favorite tarantula species to breed or to work with? So honestly, it changes from year to year on what I like to produce. It really depends on kind of what's coming up that year, what I have maturing out. I hold back a ton of spiders. From any given time, I might have between 5,000 to 10,000 spiders at home. And when I have them mature out, they'll be in cycles. So I might have a year where I'll get 15 or 20 or 30 males mature out all at once. And that's what's for dinner, right? Like that's what I have to work with. And that's what takes precedence over it. So that, but every year is different, right? So I'll typically have different spurts and things like that over the years. Certain things that I really like are ones that I would say mostly New World terrestrials, what I've been focusing on, and dwarfs a lot in the later years. But really, anything is fun. So
Well, and that kind of explains why you breed so many of a certain species. You have probably 20 males.
I think I wanted to answer this one question. Arachnid King asked, have you ever thought about selling adult tarantulas on your website? So that's a question I get a lot, honestly, is like larger juveniles or adults. And the hard part for me focusing on breeding is they're all going into breeding stock. And honestly, that's really where it's hard to like kind of give those up versus like, not to say that it never happens. Typically what I'll do is I'll go through, and then at a certain point, I think we all do this, and we'll say, why am I holding on to this one? I didn't really have anything lined up with it. I didn't really plan to breed it. Why do I have this? So I will have those once in a while, but most of the time it's just going back into the breeding program. And I don't like to really I don't like to breed mine out to where it's unhealthy. So a lot of times I'm just really raising the spider for the life of it. I might pair once or twice a female like for their entire life. And then after that, I just really end up raising it and just kind of hanging.
Let them live out their life.
I respect that. I remember I had asked you one day how many times you typically pair a tarantula before you retire them, and you were like, once. Like one time, maybe, like you said, maybe twice. You're not treating them like breeding machines. Their purpose isn't to breed for you, it's to live out their life.
Definitely. I always want to make sure that the males kind of fulfill their destiny, because I do feel sad when the males are like, I don't want to have males mature and just have them go to waste. So I do always try to, at least listen, they get eaten. I'm sorry. That's like part of it, but that's really their only focus at that point. And something inside of me just says it's wrong to not let them fulfill that part of what they were meant for,
I think that's hard for a lot of people when they are keeping because they're so afraid of the male getting eaten. But it is more sad to watch them wither away. I've dealt with it before. Sorry,
Yeah.
what did you pop up, babe?
Oh, this was somebody saying that they just adopted a teen and they're really bonding over the
Aw,
hobby. That's really awesome, man.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Does your kid like tarantulas?
So yeah, he just turned 12 not too long ago. I think he's at that point where he know. I mean, they're all around. I mean, like you can't not look and see a tarantula.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it would be some number of years till he gets more interested or not. Well, I guess we'll see. Time will tell. He has definitely helped me in the past though, like set up. Like if I have rehousings and I got to do like 100 or 200 or 300, and we'll set up all the enclosures together and things like that. Cool. He's paired a few spiders himself. So
wow.
So if anyone's gotten a pumpkin patch tarantula in the last couple of years, that was from him. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah, this Dreamweaver asks, "What is your current dream tarantula?" Oh. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one, honestly. So I really like the Mashana. So I was keeping that for a while. Unfortunately, it matured out. I tried to send it to some people to breed that had females, but unfortunately, none of it panned out. I think they're a little bit. I'm kind of scared to say, but I don't know if there's enough that is really there to support their continuation in the U.S. hobby, but we'll see. I don't know what they're cooking up in Europe. I think it'll definitely have to come from there. But it is what it is. It's just unfortunate I didn't have a female at the time, and none of the pairings worked out for the male that I sent. Which, I mean, listen, it's no fault part of it. But one thing I say with tarantula breeding is the only guarantee is heartbreak. So it's a form of self-torture. Breeding spiders, there's a lot of turmoil in it, and anybody that's getting into it, I would say that if you're not messing up, you're not doing it right. No one's going to get into it and have perfection. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of heartache, a lot of unexpected, a lot of I should have done this. Done that, and don't beat yourself up too hard about it, but it's all part of that learning process.
And the fact that after 20 to 70 years you still experience it, that's a testament to all the new breeders as well.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I really do help support. I try to support other tarantula breeders in the hobby too. So if anybody ever gets egg sacs, I always try to.
We've reached out to you a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, we've reached out to ask questions concerning pairings and sacks and stuff. I mean, bottom line is you're never going to know everything in this hobby. No. And the more you network and learn from people, I feel the farther you'll get in the hobby as far as your goals, and furthering it and making things more accessible. I feel like we all try and work together to try and breed so many different specimens.
Yeah.
And I think there's two sides, I feel like, with breeding. There's some breeders are very there's some gatekeeping in the hobby. I think we can all agree on that. There are a lot of people who aren't as welcoming of newer breeders, but then you have your Tom Saxons and a lot of the other breeders who are always happy to help. If you have egg sac, reach out, stuff like that.
So you bring up an excellent point there. So it was funny when I first started getting into it, and I remember I was there too as a new breeder. And at the time, Kelly Swift was an amazing breeder. He was producing amazing quantities in the U.S. And I remember asking him and just getting left on red. And I was like, oh, man, this guy, right? Yeah. And years later, actually, he's a cool dude. And it's all perspective. And it's a growth that you go through in the hobby. And I would say that I have two different branches. One of it is the breeder side of it, and the other part of is the retailing side. Retailing side, by far the most common question I get is, can you make sure my tarantula is female? Most common question that I get on the breeder side is they'll say, how do you pair XYZ species, right? And what's interesting is there's an evolution that I see people go through as they get more and more experienced. And like it's funny, they don't realize it at the time, like how novice I could tell where somebody is in the hobby by the question. Because they'll start off with how do you pair the species, and then it will be how do I condition the species, and then it will be how do I perfect the species, or what am I doing with this, or how do I take care of the eggs here, how do I set up an incubator, what tips do you have on saving this egg sac, right? And it's just interesting to see that whole flow, and it's really cool to see people as they move through those cycles through their life that they're probably totally unaware that they're even going to go through. I'll be like, oh, in a year this guy's going to be asking me this, this lady's going to be asking me that. So it's just really cool to see.
That is cool. That's a very good point too. And we're newer breeders ourselves, so I can imagine 2 years ago some of the questions I was probably asking would make me cringe now.
You remember our first pairing, how nervous we were.
Yeah, but
it was the tiniest little spider.
Yeah, but no, that is how you learn.
Yeah, and listen, I don't, there's two sides of it. Like I see some people in the comments, like, some of it, I agree, it's a little bit of gatekeeping, but then some of it is other questions. Like, I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but for some people, it is a livelihood too. Unfortunately, I do have like a full-time day job, and to me, it's not as critical. But I understand it's a lot of time and effort and heartache and sweat and blood and tears that goes into it. And honestly, what I need, not other people, what I need is just the appreciation from it. Yeah. And unfortunately, over the years, I've found people that aren't as reciprocating. Yeah. So you put in a lot of effort and things like that, and they get their success, and then they leave you out to dry. And all I wanted was a thank you. Yeah. And that's a little hard for me, and it's something that I've sometimes distanced myself from people, and I try not to be a jerk or anything like that, but sometimes it is a little bit hard getting. I don't want to say burned, but it kind of is like you just feel like you put a lot into it, and then people just don't recognize you anymore once they see dollar signs or they see like successes, and it's like, hey, I did all this and I didn't need help from anybody. Like
exactly.
It's a little hard. It's a little hard sometimes.
Well, and like you mentioned, there is like someone like yourself, you said there's that evolution of questions, but when someone reaches out and says, hey, how do I pair this spider? It's not that easy. It's not as easy as just telling you, hey, this is how you pair this spider. There's conditioning, there's doing the actual pairing. It would take hours and days upon days to explain that to someone. And you kind of just have to experience it and go through the process yourself. And, there's not just one person reaching out to you. There's probably 20.
You also don't know everybody's parameters. Yeah. So, people's parameters could be different, and where they're keeping the spiders, where they're pairing the spiders could be in a high traffic area where there's a lot more people,
but
or in a private room. So there's lots of different things that go into it. Now, I will agree, touching on the gatekeeping thing, I think some people make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be, which is a form of gatekeeping, and they try and make it out to be way more complicated than it needs to be, which kind of shies people away from it. And I can tell you, it just takes dedication, and if you do it enough and you pair enough spiders and keep up with it, you'll have successes. I mean, our first Saxen, and I'm sure your first Sax were probably big learning experiences.
They really are, and as you move through it, I would say that the best thing to do, whether you're keeping tarantulas or you're breeding tarantulas, whatever have you, in a hobby, is to perfect your own methodologies. I would say the biggest thing that causes deaths or unwanted types of things are you not honing in on how you're caring. You could try to replicate what someone else is doing, and you might get ideas and inspiration, but honestly, perfect what you're doing, and that's the best method. Like if you do a certain amount of holes in the container and you have it down how often you need to water, and or the temperatures, and like don't put stuff on the shelf because it'll dry out too fast, or when you're pairing or you have eggs and you do a certain style incubator, what you perfect, you're going to become the master of. And what I do is going to be different than the next 10 people. And no one's necessarily wrong in that sense. It really comes down to how you know your room, right? And how you work your room. So that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to take a quick second. So for those of you who haven't watched before, we do a little segment called Tarantula Facts with Tarantula Mark, a good friend of ours. And this is this week's video. So I'm going to play that real fast. We'll come back. We'll do some more gift cards, and then we'll talk about where people can find you and call it a night.
Tarantula Facts with the Tarantula Guy. And now it's time for Tarantula Mark.
Hey you guys, it's Tarantula Mark, and today we're talking about stacks on stacks of Big League Chew. Is that not the subject? Hey you guys, it's Tarantula Mark, and today we're talking about nature. Now, when you go and you see a spider in nature or a tarantula in nature, you're going to want to leave it alone. Just like you're going to want to leave me alone with this Big League Chew. I'm going to do things to this. But seriously, guys, leave things alone in nature. Let them be as they were, and let nature be nature uninterrupted, just like you don't want to interrupt me eating some Big League Chew. Tarantula Mark, out!
Tarantula Mark is unhinged.
He is. I didn't even realize what time it was. It's been such a good episode. We've really enjoyed talking.
Yeah, guys,
you.
we try and keep the episodes down to an hour, so we're getting close to the end here. If people want to find you, where can they find you? Get in contact with you, next show, et cetera,
all
et cetera.
the things.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, first, before I even say that, I see that you guys just crossed 200 subscribers, so that's awesome. If anybody's watching, please click that subscribe button for them. Really awesome stuff that you're doing here, and you have some amazing guests, so I'm sure the next ones will be even more amazing. But if you want to find me, Fangztv Spiders on Instagram or Tom Saxen on Facebook. I also have a business page, Fangztv, on Facebook as well. That's the easiest ways to reach out to me. Please just always hit me up with a question. I'll try to get back to everyone that I can. I try not to ignore anybody. Hopefully that comes across for most. I mean, I never like being ignored, whether or not it's a short response or just acknowledging that you reached out to me. I always try to get back to everybody. So yeah, no, I really appreciate all the love and support. Let's give away a few more, or the last four here.
Don't go yet, y'all.
Don't go away.
Let's go with Tracy Nicole for one.
Okay.
For the one after that, let's go with Brian Gilchrist.
Oh, we know Brian.
Yeah, we love Brian.
Let's see, who else do we have here? I think Ashley J.
Ashley J.
And then for the last one,
there's one more.
Drum roll. Let's go with Daniel Becken.
What was it? I'm so sorry. Oh, you were a little late on that.
I tried.
Yeah, Daniel Becken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. Womp womp.
Oh yeah! Congrats to everybody. I got a $50 gift card coming your way for everybody. That thank you so much for all the conversation. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it was great. We definitely would love to have you back again.
Yes, everybody petitioned to have Tom back. And if you want a gift card, reach out to Tom at Fangztv.com. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat too, just
Okay.
so.
Yes,
so everyone-
that's how to redeem it, is to reach out to him by email. He's got a great selection. A lot of his stuff was bred by him. As you can see, his focus is on captive breeding projects and sustainment, and he's a wealth of knowledge.
He's awesome, guys. We
Yes.
love Tom. We talk to him daily about spider related stuff all the time. He's a huge wealth of knowledge. I highly recommend
We
reaching out
annoy
to
him constantly.
You know, don't ever be afraid to reach out, especially to Tom, ourselves, or anybody. We're always happy to help point people in the right direction.
The ultimate Tom squared.
And
he
then
makes us say that.
Our episodes are the first Monday of every month. So 9 p.m. next month.
Eastern time.
Yeah, Eastern time. Next month's episode will not be live. I'm just going to let you guys know that. It's going to be pre-recorded. We'll let you guys know a little bit more in the next couple weeks, you know, about the guests and stuff. But thank you so much for coming. We really, really did appreciate it. The chat has been insane tonight. So hopefully everybody comes back, and we'll try and definitely get you on again on the next season. We'll have to talk.
Sounds great. I'm probably going to go through the chat and just help answer some questions too of anything that we might have missed. Because I know some people had some care questions and things like that. So I just want to make sure everybody, you know, I don't want anyone to feel ignored. So yeah, I'll dedicate some time to go through that.
Once again,
Tom, you're a nice guy. I don't care what they say.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye, guys.